Kia ora, Lara here, and we are celebrating 1,000 YouTube subscribers with Christine Harden. She's invited us to create a page, and she had a few criteria, and I'll talk about them later. But I've also tied this in with the CSI challenge. I think it's case file number 402. And you'll see as this page comes out a few of the components that I use from the scene and the setting of this case file. I'm going to be using the storybook collection by Close to My Heart for this, and I do contemplate bringing in some of the current mix-ins, but I decide not to. I'm going to be documenting this photo or this series of photos of my daughter. So my daughter came home for about 2 nights over Christmas, and it was lovely to see her. She, I think, though, only really comes home because of the cats that are in this photograph. So we have 2 gorgeous little grey cats. They are brothers. Their names are Rua and Boxer is Katya's cat. So Boxer is the one that she's holding on her knee. And basically the journaling goes on to say that the cats do seem to know that she's there, and they know that she's going to hold on to them and not really let them go. It's interesting because Katya's not a huggy person, so she'd rather a fist pump or something instead of a hug, but yet she loves the close contact with these cats. So just an interesting what would you call it, contradiction or something in the way things work. Just noticing as I'm doing this voiceover, the shadowing there on the paper. I'm sorry about that. I hadn't realised that was the case while I was filming. There was no, I couldn't really see that, so I'm not sure why it's suddenly so dark in there. But I'm just using some of the Dina Wakley acrylic gloss spray, and I've just taken the lid off and I'm just splattering on this sort of pink heart background. Now the pink hearts is part of the CSI scene investigation, and the splattering is part of what Christine asked us to do. So she asked us to use patterned paper, no plain colours in the background, splattering. She asked us to use some foam tape, which I'll bring in a little bit later on, and we had to have at least 2 photos. So you'll see that I've got the 2 there, and I'm just using my Versamat to work out the approximate size of some photo mats while I wait for those acrylic spray to dry. And it does dry really quickly, but I just wanted to make sure it was nice and dry before I started sticking down any of the other components. So I'm pulling out another of the storybook paper, and I love this collection. This is the feature collection for February, but I am using it now because it just tied in so nicely with both what the photos that I was wanting to do. So the other thing that Christine wanted us to do is to hide or not a unicorn, and I have put a unicorn on this. I didn't really explain that in the journaling, but that's okay. You'll see that come together soon. And so I'm just sort of playing around with some papers for the photo mat here, and I'm pretty sure I do decide to bring in one of the mix-ins. Yes, I bring in that navy with the spots, just because at the moment the photos feel like they're sort of lost with the cool patterns in the storybook collection, but you can see here that they just sort of gave them that little bit of a lift. So I'm going to go back and grab a piece of that navy, and I'm going to make it a 4x6 photo mat using the navy dots. Just from that measurement, I knew that that would give a little bit of a border without it being too dominating, and then I wouldn't have to recut those other pieces that I'd already cut. So here we go. Just trimming that down to size 4 by 6 inches, and that gives me the perfect size photo mat for just a little bit to peek behind and separate the photos from the gorgeous patterned papers that are here. So this is nice and dry now. Just did a bit of a touch test on there, and so I am ready to stick these down. So I'm just going to stick down the photos, and I'm just going to try and put them reasonably neatly, some of them anyway, onto that background. So I'm fitting these ones in nicely, and then I'm going to give this top one here a little bit of an angle, sort of a change of position, so it's not all straight up and down. So now I've got the mat sort of like that. Now I was going to make sure that I can tuck some stuff in, so hence here's the foam tape, which was also part of the components that Christine wanted as part of her YouTube thank you celebration hop. By the way, congratulations, Christine, on making 1,000 subscribers. I know that it can be a big challenge to get there, especially when you're sort of sitting close-ish to that amount and you just don't quite get there. So congratulations on achieving that goal. That's pretty awesome. So I am just wrinkling up the paper edges there. Just it's something that I do. I think I learnt that technique from Melissa Vining. She seemed to do that a lot in the past, and it's just something I seem to do constantly no matter what. I just like the rough edges so it's not all straight up and down. And perfect. That just doesn't quite work for me. So I'm pulling out the Picture My Life cards that you can also get as part of the storybook collection. Not quite sure why I decided to do this. I know that I want some for the journaling, and I'm sort of thinking, will I want something for the embellishment? So I've grabbed a couple of the journaling ones out, and then looking at some of these bigger ones. Love this pinky coloured dragon, so I think I will make use of that. Hence I've tucked it to the side. So I'm actually going to fussy cut this dragon out. Now I'm not going to make you watch me do that whole process. So I have now cut him out off screen and getting ready to stick him down. So I've also stuck that zip strip that I cut off that pink heart paper, and I've stuck that down the bottom. So at the moment I'm sort of playing with that journaling block there and really like it, but trying to work out what to do and how to tuck or how to incorporate that. And there is the unicorn that I am expected to include as part of this YouTube pop. So now it's sort of time to think about this, and I decide that since I fussy cut the dragon out, I'm going to fussy cut out this journaling block, and I'm just leaving a slight border around it as I go. Not quite sure why, but I just felt that added just that nice little bit of separation and that little bit of touch, a little bit of a different touch. And I'm toying with leaving it up there, but I felt like I needed to bring it down to where I've put that dragon. So I'm going to again do some journaling off screen, essentially very similar comments to what I was saying before about when Katya's around, the cats seem to know that they're going to be with her constantly. So so the cats sort of do get used to this. They're quite aloof most of the time, but when she's around they do let her hang out with them. So I've tucked that unicorn in there, partly hidden but partly visible, and just looking at the sticker sheets and thinking what other stickers and stuff can I bring in to this page. And I decide to call it Happy Day. It's Katya's Happy Day, not so much a happy day for Boxer and Rua perhaps, but in saying that, they do actually seem to quite enjoy climbing onto her bed at nights or snuggling with her at other times. They're just not cats that love being restricted. I guess like most of us, most of the time we like that freedom to come and go, and these cats in particular like their freedom. So Happy Day, I'm just lining this along the zip strip on each of those letters, and then the days on a little bit of an angle. So love this message here on the mirror, so I'm just going to find a place to tuck that in, and I decide to sort of put it up there a little bit, sort of creating a bit of a zigzag across the page rather than a triangle design. And I'm going to put these cute little banners or pennants across the top. So there's a rainbow, there's some stripes, and there is some spots, and I'm just going to tuck them up there. So I've sort of got 3 clusters going on this page almost, and I'm just sort of looking at the stickers thinking what else can I bring in. Really want to bring in that rainbow, and yep, I'm going to try and find a spot to keep that. Play around with a few ideas there and end up sticking it sort of over the fussy cut dragon a little bit. So in regards to the CSI challenge, there was sort of a snowing scene, so there's my white splatters in the background as well as those pink hearts as part of it, and that pink colour is sort of also part of it. It's probably not the exact pink, but it is pretty close. So there was lots of other ideas in there, so you've got heaps of time to have a go at the CSI challenge. They've changed the prizes and things, so I can't remember the dates. You'd have to check the blog or the Facebook page, which I've linked below. But now I'm just adding in a few more of the little hearts and things from the sticker sheet. Again, this fits with the CSI challenge, but I just like how these add to the splatters a little bit. as well. So I'm liking how this is sort of coming together. It's a super simple page design, just lots of fun with the storybook collection. I bring out these black die cut shapes that are also part of it, but I end up feeling that they are just a little bit too bold for the layout that's sitting there. So I feel like those colours or that black would dominate what's already in place. I wondered about the hearts, and I wondered about another of the rainbows, and there is a unicorn and stuff in there. But instead, I'm going to grab some freshly baked acrylic shapes, lots of little stars and dots and all sorts of pieces in this collection, just sort of using up some of those other bits and pieces to add a bit more dimension and a little bit more interest into the background of this layout. So thanks for watching. Check the links below for people who are also celebrating Christine's 1,000 subscribers, and also links to the CSI challenges that are there. They're a lot of fun because they're just a different way to be challenged in your scrapbooking and your creating. So here's just a few close-ups of the layout that I created in this video, and I hope you've enjoyed watching it. And yeah, till next time. See you later.